So let's look through the answers here. Which is not a goal of method level refactoring? Well, let's go back to the kind of main definition of what refactoring does. It's a way to improve, ideally, to change and hopefully improve the structure of your code without changing its behavior. So without changing its behavior is kind of the key phrase here, right? Why would you want to change the structure of your code? Well, it might be too complex. So reducing complexity is a legitimate reason to do your refactoring. It might have some code smells, and in the example that we saw, we both improved the complexity score and we improved the results from Reek. So the first two are certainly reasons to do it. What about eliminating bugs? Look, I love eliminating bugs. I'd rather not have bugs than have bugs, but refactoring is not about bugs. Refactoring is about leaving the code doing the thing that it does now, even if sometimes that thing is buggy, but improving the structure, often so that having improved the structure, you're now in a position to create tests around those areas and improve the quality of the code by fixing the bugs that might have been there. So improving testability is certainly something you can do with refactoring, right? As a simple example that we just did, extracting a method from something that used to just be in the body of an if statement, that means that you can now test that method independently much more easily than trying to test those bits of code when they're sandwiched inside an if statement that you would have had to control the control flow for. So I would say that while eliminating bugs is great, and if anytime you eliminate bugs, that's a good time. But that's not the goal of refactoring. Refactoring allows you to do these other tasks, and in some cases, that puts you in a better position to eliminate the bugs. By the way, one thing that I should point out is refactoring doesn't necessarily, we talk about how we like code to be concise, right? Concise and less lines of code doesn't always necessarily mean the same thing. In fact, as you saw, by refactoring the code even in our simple example, it got longer. But conciseness, I would argue, was actually improved because a programmer can now look at the first few lines of code and much more quickly get an idea of what the overall method is supposed to do. So really, what's the goal of conciseness? It's to minimize the amount of stuff that you have to read before you start to get a handle on why the code was written in the first place and what it's supposed to do. So paradoxically, even though the total number of lines of code to do the computation went up, conciseness was arguably improved because you capture the essence of the computation in a smaller space and in a way that's easier for other programmers to understand.